U.S. pushing resources to the limit in many American cities. Now hospitals are sounding the alarm, saying they're also overwhelmed, including some far from the border. Julia Ainsley has our report.
Tonight, the border crisis surging. Officials telling NBC News there were over 200,000 illegal crossings at the southern border last month, and a record 3 million migrants crossed the border in the last year. Now, a new warning 1,000 miles away in New York City, where officials tell us resources are overwhelmed. Across public hospitals in New York City over the last year, nearly 30,000 visits by migrants and 300 new babies born to migrant moms. Staff here at Bellevue Hospital tell us they're eager to help, but the numbers are tough.
This has been the hardest work that I've ever done, but it's been the most impactful work that I've ever done.
And most of the visits to the taxpayer-funded legal clinic here are by migrants.
Our clinics are full, and there are waiting lists, and people are turning people away or referring them to other places.
Randy Redkin from New York's Legal Assistance Group says so many migrants are asking for legal help on asylum representation and healthcare access. Now, she says, American citizens who need legal assistance with issues like eviction and insurance have to wait up to 10 weeks.
If you ask me, do we need more resources for legal services? I would say absolutely yes.
Meanwhile, New York's governor now slamming the situation at the border.
It is too open right now. People coming from all over the world are finding their way through, simply saying they need asylum.
And New York Mayor Eric Adams saying providing services for migrants will cost city taxpayers $12 billion. But Biden administration officials have blamed Adams' response. It is not an operationally sound effort, one senior DHS official told NBC News. Meanwhile, migrants on the streets are desperate for city help. We met Orlando, who fled violence in Venezuela. He didn't want to appear on camera, telling us he slept on the street before coming to Bellevue for cancer treatment.
How is that for you, given your medical condition, to be sleeping on the street?
You have to make believe it's a good bed, a king size, and you lie down wherever and go to sleep, he says. Orlando tells us he came to New York because he heard about the social services the city would offer to migrants like himself, who are trying to start a new life.
Yes, my son wanted me to do a story on this New York City immigration problem. Now, I got an article here out the New York Times. It said New York City moves to suspend right to shelter as migrant influx continues. Now, New York City is challenging a unique legal agreement that requires it to provide emergency housing to anyone who asks for it, as the city's shelter system strains under a large influx of international migrants who have arrived since last year. Now, Mayor Eric Adams embarks on a 4-day trip through Latin America starting Wednesday in Mexico, where he said he will discourage people from coming to New York, telling them the city's shelter system is at capacity and its resources are overwhelmed. Damn, he had to go down to Mexico to try to slow it down. That's crazy. And they said they're also overwhelming the hospitals. I mean, it's getting crazy up there. Now, they're saying that the city has been moving to suspend the so-called right to shelter for months under the surge of migrants, arguing the requirement was never intended to be applied to a humanitarian crisis such as the latest influx. And the article goes on to say, with more than 122,700 asylum seekers having come through our intake system since the spring of 2022 and projected costs over $12 billion, that's billion with a B, for 3 years, it is abundantly clear that the status quo cannot continue. Adams, a Democrat, said in a statement, New York City cannot continue to do this alone. Democrat. I'm through with them Democrats. I'm gonna vote Republican. Them damn Democrats, the only thing they want from black people is just to vote. They don't do anything. Like, we talk about reparations, they don't want to give us nothing. They just want our vote. And once we get the vote, they just turn their backs on us. Now, they're saying that this issue will destroy New York City, Adams said last month. The mayor has also recently tightened New York shelter rules by limiting under adult migrants to just 30 days in city-run facilities amid overcrowding. Now, Josh Goldfein, a state attorney at the Legal Aid Society, said the city's request, if successful, would be disastrous for the city. They're talking about adult migrants, limiting them just to 30 days in the facilities. Because basically what's going to happen is they're going to be out in the streets. If they don't have shelter, they're going to be out in the streets, in the parks, just running throughout New York, just causing havoc and chaos. Now, they're saying in New York City, in the past year alone, Bellevue Hospital has seen 1/4 of nearly 30,000 visits from undocumented migrants seeking medical care in the city's public hospital system. That's 30,000 in the past year. That is crazy. Now, this article, USA Today, is saying migrants bust from the border is not just an immigration crisis. Think public health. Asylum seekers could be bringing infectious diseases across our southern border when they are bused to New York and elsewhere. These diseases go with them. Now look how they do brothers and sisters. Now this is something that happened in 2021. There was a mass expulsion of Haitian people who arrived at the U.S. border in Del Rio, Texas, seeking asylum protection. Following human rights crisis in Del Rio, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security used the Title 42 policy to expel tens of thousands of Haitian men, women, and children, often in shackles, on flights back to devastating violence and instability in Haiti without providing access to the U.S. asylum system, a blatant violation of refugee protection obligations under U.S. and international law. You see how they do black people? So I can't really have any sympathy. I mean, I'm not against any race or anything like that, but you got to be fair. How you gonna treat black people like that? Even though they're from Haiti, they're still black. You're gonna treat us like that, and then everybody else can come over here and get all this protection. Yeah, this story is crazy. I just want to weigh in and put my little 2 cents in it, but I'll holler at y'all later. Gone.